welcome to the Momversation Club. I'm Claire Strong.
And I'm Christina Streckmeyer.
We're two moms just like you, navigating the nitty-grittiness of modern-day motherhood and taking you along with us as we talk about the things that nobody else talks about.
And today we're talking about our current Amazon must-haves, shows we cannot get enough of, and things that make motherhood just a tad easier in our second edition of Mom to Mom, Things We're Loving.
Hi, Christina.
Hey, Claire. How are you?
I'm good. For those who are watching on YouTube, I love your dress. It's very spring-like.
Oh,
Yay.
you stole my line. I was going to say I liked your outfit.
Well, thank you so much. And actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm wearing today because that's one of my things that I'm loving. But yeah, I like it when we do these shows. This is the second one of these that we've done, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, excluding our Christmas lists and things that we're getting for our kids. But I really love these because this is what I seek out as someone who watches content online. I'm always like, what things are they doing as far as movies and shows are they watching? What are they listening to? What are some things that make their lives easier? I wish, I'm kind of nosy, but I know that there's PayPal or Venmo. You can see what people are sending money for. I want to see other people's Amazon carts. I want to know what they're ordering.
Really? You are nosy, aren't you? Maybe there's stuff on there that you're not supposed to know about.
It's probably really boring. I mean, outside of the things I'm recommending, there's a lot of I think I ordered a soap dish the other day. It's not exciting sometimes.
Oh, wow, that is pretty boring, isn't it, actually? Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in that, but that does segue nicely into what we're chatting about today. So, talking about all things Amazon carts, what are you buying right now that you're loving from Amazon?
So I wanted to turn our listeners on to a product that I actually bought a while back, but I'm really using right now in motherhood a lot, and that is the Amazon Alexa. Alexa is big in our house. Alexa tells us the weather and it gives alarms for when, we're going to be doing timeout or playtime cleanup. And I really love having them in my home. I don't think they listen to me a little bit too much sometimes because I feel like my TikTok algorithm will sometimes have something that I was talking about yesterday. But on the positive side, there's a lot of good things Alexa does. And the one I really want to kind of share with you guys is the Amazon Alexa for kids. They have these really cute ones that are for children. And you can
those.
Yeah, they're really cute. They you can set reminders. You can do what we use it for is music and alarms. And it has some savings, privacy safeguards. So that way your child's not hey, Alexa, tell me about Charles Manson, make sure that you're not, doing things that are out of the ordinary. And it's cute because right now I'm this morning, we use Alexa in Stella's room to tell her when to put her shoes and socks on. And so she could know when to stop playing with her toys and get her socks and shoes on. And she asked this morning, what's the weather? And then it was a thundercloud and lightning. And it was today's not going to be rain like yesterday, but today is going to be clear. And I'm oh, that's super cute.
That's great. Well, actually, my 14-year-old has an Alexa, and it's so funny because I got it her for Christmas, and she uses it all the time, similar to how you're using yours. She uses it for reminders. She does play music as well, but she also goes to sleep with it on because she listens to rain sounds. And when she's going to tuck her in, and so she'll say, "Mom, I'm going to bed." So I'll come and tuck her in, and she'll say, "Alexa, turn the volume down." And so I need to get one for downstairs, and I really probably could do with one then for Sophia's room and my room too.
Yeah, I really love it, and I love that she can sometimes be the bad guy for me because at night, no one wants to stop playing after dinner with their toys and clean up and start the bedtime routine with teeth brushing and all that. And so I'll say, okay, well, I'm going to set an alarm for 10 more minutes like you asked for. And then when the alarm goes off, I'm sorry, Alexa says it's time to clean up the toys.
Oh, great. So you're basically, loading the blame onto Alexa, who's not physically here to defend herself. But I in those situations, I'm all for it. That's so good.
Yeah,
I
it's my favorite. It's my MVP in the house.
Yeah, that's so funny.
What about
Oh my
you?
God. Can I just say that is so funny? So I actually film in my daughter's bedroom, and her Alexa must be on. It's heard me say Alexa. It's just been talking to me.
Oh yeah, hold on one second. Alexa, play some music. Oh shit, that's mine. Alexa, off.
That's so funny. Oh my God. That is so
Oh,
funny. I do find myself saying to my youngest, who has the Alexa in her room, which is where I am now, I do find myself saying to her, Eva, say please. And she's like, Mom, it's a robot. It's Alexa. It doesn't matter. I'm like, you're not saying please. You're not asking me. She's like, Alexa, do this. I'm like, who do you think you're talking to? She's like, Alexa, Mom. It's not a person.
I know. We know what, girl. I did turn on some Taylor Swift, so I'll be right back.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my God.
Alexa, off. Okay, well that was a fun commercial.
You didn't say please. You're another one.
Oh man, I know. I'm so mean to her. Like sometimes when she doesn't listen, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to turn it back on. But I scream that name.
Oh my God. Well, I'm one of these people that if I'm using Chat GPT, I say like, please name you do. Would it be possible if you said
You're
and I tell
crazy.
you, when you talk to AI like that, it responds, most certainly. It reflects your vibe. And so I am like, oh, I'm sorry to be a pain, but may I add something else? And they're like, of course.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, the deal is when the robots take over, I guess they're gonna be like sparing you because I'm the one yelling at them.
The one they're going to be taking revenge out on. Me, meanwhile, they'll be like, oh, it's that lovely lady who was just please and thank you. And apologizes for bothering us. And that's another question. Well, I like to
about her. Enough about her.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I'm always very nice to my AI friends. So I want to share something with you that I'm loving. So it's a company I found on Amazon called Pretty Garden.
Oh.
And they're a clothing company. And oh my goodness, I stumbled across these about 6 weeks ago and I saw a jumpsuit that I liked. I'm actually wearing one right now. You can't see it properly. In fact, I've got a photo I wore it for a job about a week ago. So I'll share a photo on stories or something. And you can see it in all its glory. But they are the
cutest. Cute.
Hey, it is cute.
Yeah.
You can't see it properly. Let me just. No.
Oh yeah, no. I was gonna ask you where you got your outfit for today because I really like how. Okay, for those who can't see,
yeah, let's talk about it. So can you see
it's like just your boobs right now.
No, I'm not just showing you my boobs. I'm showing you the rouging. Look at this. Look, we have some like rouging there, and then it's in at the waist, and then you can't see because I'm sat down, but it's kind of like there's some nice material here, and it was like under $40. And it feels and looks so much more expensive. I actually wore this to in this color to an MCing gig I did about a week ago for Comic-Con. It was a real big event. And I'd ordered this a few days before, and I was like, I'm going to wear it. I had so many compliments, and I'm sure that people thought that I'd spent a few $100s on it. It looks really nice, and it's so comfy. And so I've ordered one in this. This is, I think they call it the beige. And then I have one in jade green, which is also really pretty. And then I may even order one in this really nice royal blue shade, just because I am so impressed with them. And they're so comfy as well. Now, the only drawback with jumpsuits is, when you go to the bathroom, you've got to kind of unzip it. But it's fine. I figured it out. It's not, a massive hurdle. So I just would really recommend this brand because I am loving their stuff. It's nice quality and it looks a lot more expensive than it is.
It really does. It looks, I think what I like most about a jumpsuit or a romper, any of those like matching sets is that it's just simple. When you wear one solid color, especially like a neutral, it makes the focus be you and not so much the clothes.
Yeah, I agree.
It really puts you out there and then you can kind of dress it up with jewelry or dress it down. Like it's nice.
So with this particular one that I wore last week for this MC gig I was telling you about, I had these really nice gold statement earrings. So I was able to really kind of elevate it that way. I also like this neck. I like this neck because it's not too high, but then, we
The
haven't
hat
got.
turtleneck for those who can't see.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I just, yeah, I love it.
It's really
Um,
pretty.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I would highly recommend this. I think they also do a similar thing, but in a maxi dress. I may even order one of those just because I kind of really love this style, and it might just make it a little different in a maxi dress form. So yeah, so Pretty Garden is the company. So yeah, go and check out them.
Well, we
Definitely.
talked about in the fashion episode, when you find a silhouette that works for you, you want to like find more of that because it makes dressing so much easier. And for me, that's I like a lot of drawstring kind of at the higher waist part or on the neckline. I like things that are high up and kind of around the collar because I don't have a very big chest, so it kind of like makes the collarbones more of the center. And for
Yeah,
you, you
yeah.
have such beautiful arms and you want to show that off, and it really helps like enhance your natural.
Oh.
You look
Well,
beautiful.
thank you. I appreciate it. Well, the other thing with this is, I mean, I was also reading the other day that there are certain colors that can really elevate your look and kind of give off an expensive feel. And cream is one of them. Navy is another one. And so, with this particular jumpsuit, I did buy more for work purposes, but this particular style is so comfy and you could absolutely dress it down. So I not only wear these jumpsuits for work, but when I finished work and I'm back doing the school run or whatever, and I haven't had a chance to get changed, it's fine. They don't crease. They're so comfy to sit in when you're driving. So you could even wear something like this if you were just, for example, meeting a friend after the school drop off. So
Yeah,
you wouldn't
for
look like
sure.
crazy, dressed up. You could dress it down. You could wear it with, trainers or sneakers as they call them here, like sandals, whatever, flats, whatever. But I'm really impressed. So yes, check them out. Pretty Garden is the company.
I love that. Well, and I hope for the day that I can wear tan again because I feel like every time I do, there's always peanut butter and jelly or something stuck to me. So I think once you hit school grade, like you might be able to wear tan again. So I highly recommend. I think
Well,
it's
I'm the one that needs to look at. It's not even the kids; it's me. I've got tea here. For example, spilling tea on myself. It's me that gets me in a mess now. It's not my girls. I can't blame them anymore. They're at the age where I can't use them as an excuse.
no. Speaking of keeping clean, my next recommendation has to do with that. And that is not an Amazon product, but just something that's kind of been really helpful for me as a mom. And that is having a car wash membership. So in my town, there is like a drive-through car wash, like a really big one. Have you seen those? Do they have those in your town?
Yes, not exactly near me, but I have driven past them. Hey, listen, I'm all ears because both of we have a car. I have a car. Kyle has a car. Particularly the one I drive is disgusting. Eva even said to me, I picked it up from school the other day. She said, "Mum, this car is disgusting." She said, "It's
Oh,
gross. You need to clean it." I need to clean it.
I
How
know.
about you clean it? Maybe you could clean it, and I'll give you some money for it. She's like, "No, Mum." She's like, "It's too dirty. You need to take it to one of those car washers." So continue your story on
I
that.
know
I'm
you.
taking
It's
notes.
honestly such a problem. Like most moms in general, like we live in our car. Like it just, especially if you have
Oh
kids and
yeah.
activities, you inevitably get the Starbucks wrappers and the cups and the water bottles and all the things that kind of like collect all the stuff that's in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's been really helpful. What I do is I have a monthly membership and it's
Right.
unlimited washes. And it's one of those big ones where you drive through and then at the end, there's like a vacuuming spot where you can throw away trash and vacuum and like clean your windows better. And it's been nice because I have a toddler. And so whenever we go through the car wash, she thinks it's really fun. It's like a fun
Yeah.
activity for us to do. And so what I'll do is every week, usually on Saturdays, I go through the car wash. We do our little car wash situation. If I lived in town, I'd do it a lot more, but I live kind of far away from it. So on Saturdays, we do that. And then we park and we get rid of all the trash. And I have like a toy bucket in the middle of my captain seats because I have a 3-row car.
Mm-hmm.
The toy bucket always has like applesauce packets and yogurt pouches and things that have been thrown in there. And it's like I'm like shaking that baby out over the trash, getting all the crumbs out. The car seat, I'm able to get that vacuum cleaner and get under the car seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't wash it with like rug washer or anything, but I'm just doing
Mm-hmm.
vacuuming. But it feels so nice to like have a car that's completely clean until the next day when it gets ruined again. But like I'll be back.
I mean, gosh, if you can clean your car once a week, I think you've won the game of life, because once a week is just, I mean, that's enough. That's enough to keep it looking, respectable. I mean, my car is at the point where if someone I didn't know, say I was meeting for like someone for the first time, for example. In fact, I had this situation 2 days ago. I was meeting this lady for coffee. It was like a work meeting. And thank God she didn't see me get out of my car, because it's so dirty. And I know they say that like a car can reflect you as, the car driver. And I'm like, oh God, I hope she doesn't make a judgment of me because she sees this filth. And the car's black, so it like looks. I mean, it's very dusty here where we are, because we generally don't get like a crazy amount of rain in San Diego. We live near the beach, so it's just not a good combination. And so it's very often covered in kind of dust. That's just the outside. And then come inside, there's dog hair everywhere. It's a whole thing, the sand. Oh my God. So I love that. And it sounds like you can make it pretty cost effective if you join their
It's 25 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
25 bucks a month. And it's unlimited. So like if I lived in town, I'd go way more than once a week. I would probably go every other day or so. But for me, another like just as an aside for keeping a clean car, I have a couple of things I always do that kind of keep it a little bit more manageable during the week. Whenever I'm going somewhere that has a trash can nearby, I go through my whole car and clean my car out real quick. I have these. They probably don't like, a gas station hates to see me coming, because I'll park my car and get my gas, and I have these like little small trash bags that are for like your little trash bag in the bathroom. Yeah. And I pick that baby up and I'm going through and I'm collecting as much as I can and putting it in there, tying it off and putting it in the gas station trash bag or the Target trash bag or the post office. So I'm like throwing trash around all over town basically.
Yeah. I started doing that though. When I go to the gas station to put gas in my car, I've started doing that every time. I'm like, okay, so while it's filling up with fuel, let me see what I can get rid of in the car. So that's a good tip actually. Yeah.
And as far as outside, I mean, it stays clean for 2 seconds because I live on a farm, and so it's more about the vacuuming part and the funness for the toddler.
I love it, and I do think that once a week clean just keeps everything at bay. So I love that, and now you've inspired me to get my car clean so that my kids aren't desperately ashamed to be. Listen, I want to share something else. Yes, okay, but here's the thing. I feel a little bit self-indulgent because your things are very practical and benefit the entire family, whereas the thing that I'm sharing today just benefit me or you, as a mum. But so let me just start by saying I am not very good with makeup, okay? I don't know what to do with it. I don't wear very much of it. On a normal day, I just wear mascara and Vaseline on my lips or maybe a lip gloss. That's like the extent of my makeup, okay? I put on some more makeup for this show just so I don't look dead, but I still don't know what I'm doing. So this is why I am absolutely loving this product. Now, look how cute this is. I'm going to put it up to the camera for those watching on YouTube. It's called Milk. Well, that's the company. Yes. So what it is it's this little like cylinder container for those that can't see. And I'm going to do some ASMR here because I'm going to take the...
And it's pink.
It's pink. Love it. So I've taken the lid off it for those that can't see. And what this is, I'm just going to kind of twizzle it up a little bit. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, look at this. Okay, what this is it's basically a blush stick. Now, I know that these aren't anything new, but this one in particular, it's this jelly-like formula. It's really unusual. I think it's actually made with, so it's called Cooling Water Jelly Tint, okay? And so I'm just going to do a little bit without making myself look like it. Okay. So all I do is, again, for those of you not watching, I'm just dabbing a little bit.
Wait.
on my cheek.
I need a clip of this because you look like one of those little dolls.
Oh, so this right now. So okay, so what I've done is, for those that can't see on video, so I've just dabbed a bit in the like apple area of my cheeks, I guess. I'm gonna put the lid back on, and then all you do is just dab like this. So I'm just dabbing away. Now I already put some on to film, so probably I'm gonna look a bit silly after this, but it just is really cute. Now I have put a little bit much on this. I need to work it, but it's so natural. It makes me look like I'm not dead. And the other thing I like about it is, so it's very forgiving. So I'm not, like, I don't know how to contour or anything like that. And so, can you see? I'm like rubbing it in there. It just gives you that flesh look.
You know what I'm thinking about is, for my blush, I am a millennial, an elder millennial, and so my shit is still in a powder. Like, I have a powder with a blush like brush. This is something that you could throw into your mom bag.
This
and
is what I
would go all over the place, and it would be fine.
Yeah, so look how little it is. It's so compact, and this is, I believe this is a new product by this company, Milk, because the texture of it, when it goes on, it's very cooling, and it feels like this cold jelly. It's kind of unusual, actually, when you first put it on. But I've had it about a week, and I've got used to it now, and I just love how easy it is. And it just gives you that little, I mean, I look a little pink right now because I've already applied some. I need to work it, but the point is, it just gives you that nice flush look. You don't need to be a makeup expert. It's a tint, so it actually lasts really well as well. It's very long wearing. And so unlike regular blush that will just slide off your face, this doesn't. It's a tint, so it's kind of a stain. And I'm loving it. It wasn't outrageously expensive. You can buy it off Amazon. You can get it from Sephora. But, if you're just wanting to make it easy on yourself, order it off Amazon. And I love it. Yeah. And so this color, I'm trying to think let's see if it says. Okay. The print's pretty small, so I'm not sure. I think this might be in, is it fresh? Oh, I don't know. But it's, I think it might be in the fresh color fresh. But anyway, it's gorgeous. And they have various colors, so you don't just have to get this one. But I love it. So that's what I wanted to share with the world.
I like it. And again, like, I think for moms, and I'm speaking for myself, but I imagine other people agree, it has to be quick. It has to be easy. It has to be something I can throw in my purse or like dab on in the car line. Like, I don't have time to sit in front of a mirror and do makeup. And that's super easy for you to do.
Super easy. And, this is the exact type of thing that you could do parked up in the school car park, waiting for your kid. Oh, I look a little, tired or flat. Dab some of this on. Do that with your fingers and you are good to go. So yes, it's by Milk, and it's the Cooling Water Jelly Tint. Highly recommend.
Love it. And it's a cute thing to do in the car line as opposed to my normal situation. I was in the car line the other day, aside. This is an aside. And I found, I don't know, if you're over 35, you might relate to this, but I found a chin hair just hanging out right here. And I heard tweezers. And I was like, and I can see it because of the way the sun was shining and the rear mirror. I'm parked. And so I was like, I'm going to get this bad boy. And so I grab my tweezers, I tweeze. Just then, I look right next to me, and the other car's just staring at me. I have another lady that tweezes her beard in the line. So that...
Oh my God, it's so funny. But listen, I will say, this is a bit of a secret confession of mine, because when you are in the car and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you can see things like that because of the light. And I'll often look at my eyebrows and be like, oh, actually, they are not very tidy. I thought they looked okay, but I obviously don't stare at myself in the light all the time. But when you're in the car and you catch a glimpse, you're like, oh, actually. So sometimes I don't always have tweezers with me, but if they are in my makeup bag, for example, I will do that. I'll just kind of like, get some stray hairs here. And I am looking around me to make sure people don't see, but,
Well, I missed that step. And this cute blush situation would be a cute thing to happen upon. Like, oh, let me just la 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 la.
Feeling very good. So anyway, I'm really loving that. Is there anything else?
I have a few more, but I'm gonna say I'm not all about everybody else. Like, I do this. My next one is about me and me only. Okay. So I know a lot of women love a good bubble bath, right? They like the soap bubbles and maybe a glass of wine, a book, whatever, if they can escape for that long a period. I
Yeah.
don't like baths. I'm going to go on record. I know
Hmm.
it's crazy as a woman, but I don't like a hot bubble bath.
Yeah, I haven't had one in years, I've got to say. We actually have the world's biggest bathtub in our ensuite bathroom. We've been in this house nearly 3 years. That thing hasn't been used once, not by me, not by Kyle. It's a waste of space. It needs, when I remodel the bathroom, that is coming out and we'll just have like a nice big shower put in there. But this thing's a monster, Christina, and it just never occurs to me to have a bath. I don't feel like I have the time. And I don't necessarily have the inclination either. Now, my
Yeah.
mom, I used to grow up with a mom who like adored baths. So every night she'd have a bath. It was like a whole ritual. It's just not really my bag. So I'm actually with you on that one.
So that's
I
correct.
don't love them. I don't crave them like I know some people do.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to out my husband right now, but he loves a bubble bath. My
Okay.
husband loves a long soak for like 2+ hours. He'll be in there. It's his favorite. Like, if because we love each other, but not every minute of every day do we like want to be right next to each other. So we have we have Survivor night, we have nights where we're watching a movie, but some days I'm like, I have a lot of work to do, or I really wanted to get on this project. And he's like, cool, I'm going to go soak. He'll get his Epsom salt and his bubble bath and his aromatherapy candle and all this stuff. He's a luxurious, like, girly pop.
Wow.
Um, okay, so back to like me, don't have a bath, but I do. I love the idea of taking care of myself. I just don't want to be in that environment because I'm with you. I'm like thinking I could be doing so many things. I don't want to be wasting time. So in pops my recommendation, which is shower steamers. Have you heard of these?
No, but they sound good.
So what they are these like little bars. You can get them like I have a link for like the one I use on our Amazon storefront, but you can go to Walmart, Target, wherever. They sell them all over the place. And they're like these little bars that look kind of like soap. And you put it on the bottom of your shower, and as water kind of gets near it, it puts out a scent, like aromatherapy. And so you can get the
Mm.
experience of like relaxing in a bathtub while you're taking your like 5-minute shower, and it's kind of nice. And they have different kinds for different things. Like they have like a lavender for like nighttime, or ones that are supposed to give you more energy. Although I can't claim to that.
Mm.
I can't attest to more energy.
No, that's more coffee that does that. But how they work though? Like, how do they work? So they're a little bar.
They're like a little bar, and water gets on it, and then the steam releases the scent from your hot shower.
But where do you put them? Like, where do you place them?
I put mine to like just the edge, so like kind of the corner of the shower, so that I don't step on it, and then the water kind of trickles on it, and then steam, and it kind of just releases the scent. I'm not sure on the science of it, but it does work.
Well, they sound really nice. It reminds me a bit of, not that I'm in these very often, but like I once went into a steam room at a gym or somewhere like that, and they had aromatherapy oils obviously plugged into the steamer, and it smelled so good. Like you felt like you were being, decongested because of the
Yeah.
combination of the heat, the steam, and the essential oils. So that actually sounds lovely.
Yeah, and they have like mini ones that are for like if you're just taking a quick 5-minute shower. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I do like I would say every other week or maybe once a month, like everything shower, where I'm like deep conditioning my hair and making sure I shave my legs and all the stuff. And I'm not quick about it. I'm like taking my time
Yes.
and doing all the things. I pop one of those bad boys in on my everything shower day, and it feels like I've just left a spa. It feels so nice.
Oh my
And they're not
God.
very expensive at all.
That's great. Well, definitely link that in our description
Yeah.
because I want to check those out. They sound amazing.
Yeah, and they're something that often women probably wouldn't buy for themselves, I think. So they also make a great gift.
I was
So
about to say, Mother's Day, for example, if there's
yeah,
any listening on here, that either needs to buy for a mom or who can drop some hints to their partner or kids, that would be a lovely Mother's Day gift. I love
totally.
that.
You can see like a little basket with like maybe a cute, like a nice book and like a cute
Yeah.
headband, some shower steamers or
Yeah.
jewelry.
Maybe some nice hand lotion. I love my hand lotion.
Ooh,
Yeah. That
yeah,
sounds so good.
we need
Oh
to
my
get our
God.
own gifts.
I love that. Very
we do.
luxurious.
You know what we should do for mothers? And I think this is just an
Mm.
off the cuff idea. We should do like a secret Santa for moms on Mother's Day. Like,
Oh, that's so nice. What a
you
great idea.
mom, and then you go, okay, I know exactly what Claire would want for Mother's Day. Let me go shopping for her.
I love that. So just get a group of mums together, maybe your mum friends, and just recognize them that way. Yay, I love that.
The men always go, I mean, I don't know. I used to work at a grocery store, and like a big box grocery store. And every day, Mother's Day, at like 10 a.m., there'd be like a line of dudes with like roses in their hands.
Yeah. They're not original, are they?
No, they don't know what to do. And so
Yeah,
women know what other women want. You kind of buy what you would want and then get.
Exactly. That's why I always think buying for another woman is easier, because I put myself in their shoes. Like, what would I like this? What would I like? And then, generally, even if you don't ask them or you don't know exactly, you're 90% guaranteed to have got them something that they're going to like.
And then when I do that, sometimes, Claire, I don't know if you do this, but like, then I want to keep it.
No, I'm like, or I think to myself, why don't I buy myself stuff like that? Especially if it's somewhere like Sephora. I've gone and got them something from there. I'm like, I kind of deserve something like this too. But, it's okay. It's not my birthday. It's her birthday. So.
Down. Well, okay. So speaking of like self-care, I know you talked about, I asked for no spoilers, but you talked about some self-care that you were taking in the form of a new show you're into.
Well, here's the thing. So I very rarely watch TV. I think, honestly, the reason why is because when I was growing up, I was training to go to ballet school. So I was always at dance. So I didn't even used to watch a lot of TV back in the day before I had kids, and even when I was a teenager. And then that just kind of, translated into adulthood. And then I was a journalist and I was a morning anchor for many years. So I'd have to get up at 3:30 in the morning. So again, didn't really watch a whole host of TV. However, a show that I've been meaning to watch, which, this person is quite controversial, which is a bit silly to me, because unless you are her friend or you know her, you don't know her. So it's Meghan Markle, or she's not actually called Markle anymore.
Oh, Meghan Sussex.
Meghan Sussex, yeah. So Prince Harry's wife. And so I've seen this advertised. So it's her new series called With Love, Meghan. And when I'd read a little bit about her, she had apparently like a lifestyle website called The Tig, I want to say, back in the day, before she met Harry and all of that. And so she's just one of these people that she's very creative. She's got a very creative eye. She loves cooking. She's not a professional cook. She just enjoys cooking things from scratch. She also likes putting together floral arrangements, and she's a calligrapher. So she does that fancy writing. If you, for example, were going to write, in fact, I think she did this as a job at one point, write wedding invitations, and there's that fancy elaborate writing. Well, she's good. Yeah, she's good at that. I think she may have even taught it at some stage. Anyway, so here's the thing. As I've said, I'm not really a massive TV series person because I don't feel I have the time to invest in it. But my husband, I was home alone last weekend because he went snowboarding by himself. And I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm actually going to check out this series, because then the episodes aren't crazy long. I want to say they're about 40 minutes. I don't know. And I think there may be 6 in them, 6 in the series. So on the Friday and Saturday, I started watching the series, and I've now finished it. I watched the first, I think, 6 episodes, and yeah, and it was nice. I mean, it's not, it is what it is. I mean, it's kind of a cooking show, but then it also has some other elements to it, and I think more than it being a cooking show, it's more of it gave me some ideas for, she's very into elevating regular things and making them look fancier than they are. Now, here's the thing, it looks like she has more time on her hands than I do, frankly, and a bigger budget than mine. But that said, I don't live in a mansion in Santa Barbara. But what I will say is, some of the things that she was doing, it was just things that, if you had the time or the inclination, you probably could do a version of that for yourself. Like when she has friends come over, I never think of doing this. It was funny. She did a brunch. I think it was on the final one. And I was actually watching this with my youngest daughter, and we were kind of laughing because if ever I had some French come over for brunch, I would have like literally just, I mean, I'd make them a tea from my cupboard, like a tea bag, and make them tea. And maybe at the most, I would get some like croissants from the shop, and that would be kind of it. But she's thinking about the table arrangements and the flowers and this and that. But it did make me think. I could be a little bit more creative with some of the stuff I do on a day-to-day basis. I could. I just don't. I think everything becomes so militant. Dinner, you have to get dinner out for the family. And so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. And you don't need to be correct because it's just you're feeding people. And I guess the show inspired me to be a little more creative, not necessarily on that scale, because like I said, I don't have that time. But I thought it was quite nice. The other thing I liked about it from a journalistic standpoint and a production standpoint is very nicely shot. So, there's some really nice shots of, gardens and bees and flowers. It's pretty. And I really love that area, Santa Barbara. It's a really pretty area. So there's always some shots of the scenery, which I think is nice. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what slightly irritates me about all of this, she gets a lot of hate, that woman. Like, people are really nasty towards her. A lot of people from the UK, actually. That's another thing. I won't get into it now. Some people are of the opinion that she kind of like split up the royal family and, corrupted Harry and all of that, which I don't buy into. But it doesn't matter. Every woman deserves to create their own path. For example, she's been slated, from what I can see, for trying to copy people like Martha Stewart. And I believe Pamela Anderson has a cooking show out or something as well. It's like, is there not... I didn't get the impression she was trying to be Martha Stewart, I've got to say. She isn't a professional cook. In fact, she has professional cooks on that show showing her stuff. And I just think it's interesting how people, particularly women, can hate another woman so much when they've not even met them. Like, who? I've never met her. I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on her either way. I think she's done some good stuff for women's rights. I think, so I respect her in that point of view. But to say that you hate someone that you've never met, it's just weird to me. So that was part of the intrigue that I wanted to watch the show, because I'd seen so much negative press from, not just from people on, social media and trolls or whatever, but from, established newspapers. The Economist, is one of them that I've read The Economist for years. I was kind of a little surprised with their opinion piece on this. It was kind of nasty. And so anyway, that's something that, if you haven't seen it, I'd say check it out. It's on Netflix right now. I think, if for anything else, it's just like a little bit of escapism. That's kind of what it is. It's just pretty. It's very well shot, and it's pretty things.
That's the thing. I think the climate right now when it comes to like the press and stuff, I think that Meghan Markle specifically is kind of the victim of someone having a really good relationship with the press and them being able to spin stories to make her look a certain way. There's kind of no winning when the media decides that you're not good. And you kind of have to wait it out, and you can't do anything to kind of change it. You can get your own PR team to spin it, but it's interesting how we as a society let the press tell us how to feel about people. Instead of like their actions or the way that they've been in interviews or any of those other like much more reliable ways. Mm. And I like the idea of her show. I think there's enough room for people to be that specific genre, because it's not that she's saying everyone should be able to do this. It's a level of escapism, and for people to be able to slow down and enjoy a little beauty for something that she's doing. Just like, for instance, like the Home Edit on Netflix about organization. They're not suggesting that everyone do that. It's just for those who enjoy organization, this might be a show for you. Like if you
I'll say,
and beauty,
I agree.
Megan's show.
Yeah. Christina. And the other thing I'll say about that show, so she is a mum and she talks about being a mum a lot. She's got young children. I think they're 3 and 5, her kids. And some of the stuff that she makes or that she's focusing on are for the kids. She does like a kids, she does it's for her and this other TV presenter. They have their own tea party, but they were basically making stuff that would be suitable for a kids' tea party. So there are some nice things that moms would appreciate about that show. So yeah, I just think it's a little extreme that she's so persecuted as she is. But anyway, so I would say if you've got a spare few hours, check that show out.
No, I'm gonna check it out. I like the idea. I like and enjoy people who spend time like that. I have a couple family members. I have an aunt who did, she's not my aunt, she's my husband's aunt, but now she's my aunt. But our Aunt C, she does a lot of events like that where her home is like this really beautiful 1960s style home. She keeps things really nice. She's retired. She used to work in home interior design. And you can tell, you walk into her home, it's like so beautiful. And there's so many wonderful things to look at. And she enjoys hosting tea parties and like specialized birthday parties where everything's had a lot of thought to it. It's not something I would probably take on myself, but I enjoy it and it brings her joy. And that's something.
I think that's the thing. I agree with what you're saying. The other thing I appreciated actually about this show is that so she lives a very privileged lifestyle now, but that was not always the case. She was basically brought up by, in a single parent family household in LA, and she said she used to be a latchkey kid. She would be a latchdoor kid. I don't know what the phrase is. We don't really use that in England, but yeah, a latchkey kid. So she would come home from school and she lived off junk food and TV dinners because they didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have this wonderful garden that you see in the show. By the way, she's filming on a set. It's not her house, and she got some flack about that too, which I think is weird. You can never win in these situations. She's filming at a property nearby to where she lives, but there's this very large garden and there's lots of herbs and beautiful vegetables and stuff. But she says, obviously this is a privilege to have this type of produce on your doorstep. I didn't grow up with this. Certainly I didn't grow up with any produce. And so, I thought that was nice too, that she clearly is able to identify with regular people, because that's kind of where she was for many years. So yes, so that so it's called With Love, Megan. It's on Netflix right now. So yeah, if you fancy just having a bit of escapism and looking at some nice pretty cakes and jam. She's always making jams. In fact, I did learn one thing. Apparently she said the difference between a jam and a preserve is that jam is about 50-50 fruit to sugar ratio, whereas a preserve is a higher fruit to sugar content. So it's less sugar but more fruit. Anyway, who knew?
Hungry. I love when people bring me like homemade preserves or jams or things that like I love that stuff. I have them in my kitchen right now. I actually have some jams that our neighbor brought over, and it's apricot and they're delicious. Like I think it's such a our generation isn't doing things the way previous generations have, and it's probably because we're just trying to survive out here. Like we have lives than the people before.
It is. We don't have the time. That's what I think it is. And then, but if ever, because I've got a friend who has a garden at her house, and she's always making jams. And whenever she gives me a jam, it's so nice. It just tastes so much better, doesn't it? Than the stuff you can buy in the shops.
Yeah. No, I mean, unless you're going to like a farmer's market, you're not going to find a better quality. And goals. Like whenever I see that, I'm like, goals. I would love to learn how to do that one day. Like this isn't my season for that. Like maybe
That's
later.
Not my season. That's not my season.
But maybe we're older and like we're retired. I don't know. We'll figure out. We'll make jams and we'll sew and we'll quilt. Like that'll be our thing.
Yeah, I have to pick what I make from scratch. I mean, I try and make everything from scratch. When I say everything, I'm talking about like the basics for dinner. Like I'll make my pasta sauce. Just because I usually I do. But yeah, jams are they're out of my league right now. Like you say, one day when it's our season, but now is not the time for me at least. So have you been watching anything on TV lately?
I actually watched a movie recently that I wanted to talk about, but it's a very strong pivot from yours.
Like a bit of variety on the Momversation Club. Go on. What's it about?
I've
What is it?
been wanting to watch this movie since it came out to theaters, but the timing didn't work out. Me and movies and theaters are really hard. I think most moms
Yeah,
can't get
I'm
there.
the same. I'm the same. I want to go and see something, then it's by the time I get round to it, it's not showing anymore. So yeah. So what's first of all, what genre is this?
Okay, so it's a psychological thriller.
Oh, I
It's
like
called,
those.
it's called Blink Twice. Have you heard of it?
I want to say I have. I think that's the title sounds familiar. I definitely haven't seen it, but that sounds great. I love thrillers.
It's so good. Okay, so
Okay.
I went in pretty blind. Like I saw some clips on TikTok and I was like, "Oh, I want to get around to watching that. I'll see that when that comes in theaters." And then I never got to. And then I saw it was on Amazon, but I couldn't like bring myself to spend the $20 to buy it. So I was like, "Okay, I'll wait till it's on Prime." And it's now on Prime for free.
Oh,
Well, for
wow.
the you have Prime, like it's on
Okay.
Prime.
Mhm.
And it's a recent, so it's last year. It's a newer psychological thriller. It's written and directed by Zoe Kravitz, who is
Mm,
Lenny Kravitz's
yeah,
daughter.
yeah. I
Um,
know her personally, but yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
you know her personally.
No,
No,
I
you
don't
don't
know.
know her personally.
I'm just saying I know who she is. I'm aware of her. She's an actress too, isn't she? But yes, okay, good.
So she, this is her like directorial debut, and like she wrote it and directed it. And it's a psychological thriller starring Channing Tatum, who is
Oh yeah.
so hot. Big fan. Um,
The reason you really, this is a real reason you wanted to watch
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I mean, Magic Mike definitely swayed me over to the Channing Tatum. So, I was in as soon as you said Channing Tatum and psychological thriller directed and written by a woman. I was like,
Yeah.
yep, would like that. So the story is, without giving too much away, because I definitely want people to be able to like go in blind like I did. But it follows a woman who is a cocktail waitress and an artist, and she and her friend run into by working an event this billionaire who's like a tech billionaire played by Channing Tatum. And that person is like super magnetic. The cocktail waitress, her name's Frida, she's really into him. She's kind of watching him online, really into him, kind of drawn to him. And she finds herself kind of in a conversation with him. And he invites her and her friend to go to his private island for like a getaway and just kind of to escape and come with him and like have an adventure. And so she goes. And then the movie follows what happens when she goes to the island. So I don't want to give away too much, but
Yeah, because I want
it's
to watch it.
quite, yeah. And so the themes around it are what really led me to kind of like, I watched the movie with my husband who also went in blind. And we do this thing where we alternate who picks the movie. And he's really good about picking out good movies. But for me, sometimes he'll stare at me and be like, "Why did we watch that?" that
Yeah,
was that was a wild ride that didn't really go many places. I'm like, I love
yeah.
that. He
So,
loved it. He loved
did
it.
he?
It was
Yeah.
over. He looked at me and he went, "Whoa, that was really good. Like that was a good movie." And it reminded me of the movie Get Out, which came out many years ago, a couple years ago, with Jordan Peele, where you think you know the story and you're like following along, and then all of a sudden it
Mhm.
switches, and you're like, "Where are we? What is happening? Who's?"
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I love those movies. Yeah, I've definitely heard of that one. I haven't seen it, so I will see it now because that's my bag. I love any
It's
type of thriller. That's my favorite genre.
there is a little bit of violence. It's not a lot, but there is a little bit of violence, a little bit of trauma stuff. So if you're sensitive to that, might not be the film for you. But there is a trigger warning before the film that addresses it. So when you read it, you can kind of make that decision for yourself. But what I
Hmm.
will say is we need more movies written and directed by women,
Oh,
because
100%.
even though it was kind of dealing with a delicate subject matter, and it did have a lot of like psychological debt, kind of social commentary about feminism and, people having unchecked privilege and like power imbalance and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because it was written and directed by a woman, the violence wasn't gratuitous. There wasn't this kind of, sometimes with movies when they go darker, it can kind of feel like a fetish film, and you're kind of like, this is like someone's getting off on this. Like this is
This
really
is
way too
weird.
much.
I do not like films that have got gratuitous violence. I just don't think it's necessary. And they're always directed by men. They're always directed by men. And it's funny because men kind of enjoy those, I think, as well. Because sometimes Carl said, oh, this is a great film. You go and watch it. He's watched loads of films. I haven't watched that many films, honestly. And so we'll start it. And I'll say to him, this is really a guy's film. Because I don't know. This is just not for me. Like, this is so over the top violent. It's not necessary. He's like, oh, it's a good film, though. I'm like, actually, I'm probably not going to. No, you carry on watching it. It's just really not my bag. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. And you can tell the story, and you can tell when it's been directed by a woman, because I feel like they don't make that the entirety of the focus of the story. And also the way it's shot. It was done really delicately, because there's a lot of like, the subject matter of what's happening is awful. But the way that she shot it and the way that she told the story, it still felt like it was for women and by women. And I really loved it. It definitely makes you think. And after the movie ended, I sat there for a good 10 minutes like, wow. And then after I went on Google and was like, what was this about? What was that about? And there's people who are online and being like, this meant this and this meant that. And did you catch this part where it said that? So it feels like I need to watch it again to like catch all of it.
Okay, great. Well, that might be one I'm watching this weekend. I love it.
Don't watch it with the kids, though. It's definitely not like for children.
Oh yeah. So it's a parent flick. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I'm
and you want to like watch a kind of a more thought provoking film. Like that's what I would watch.
Okay, love it. And then by the way, with Love Megan thing that I mentioned, that it's fine if the kids are in the room for that. There's nothing. In fact, if you've got older kids like mine, they actually quite enjoyed the whole, baking thing. So from one extreme to the other, but that film sounds amazing. But what about you guys at home? What are you loving right now? Are there any, I don't know, anything off Amazon that you're loving, or any, particular purchases that you're proud of? And what are you watching? Give us some ideas on what's good TV-wise, Netflix-wise, any movies that you watch that you just think we should all be a part of? Yeah.
Also, I'm really curious to hear what their thoughts are of With Love by Megan, the Netflix show that you mentioned.
I would love that too. I would love that too, because like I say, I don't think as women we should be ganging up on each other, but that's my take on it. But yeah, I would be interested to hear thoughts on that, and similarly that film, but don't give away the plot because I haven't seen it yet.
No spoilers.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the Momversation Club.
And if you've enjoyed today's show, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review.
We really hope that today's episode has helped you to feel more seen and less alone in motherhood. Until next time, bye for now.